They may be cute and cuddly, and a pretty easy pet to maintain. Make no mistake about it, cats are trained killers. I'm sure all of you have gotten a glimpse at a cat when it gets fixated on something. They're total apex predators. They just come that way, no training required. And that being said, I can't imagine trying to train a cat. They do what they want, and they could be real dicks about it. As a matter of fact, I can assume with the utmost certainty that all cat owners have uttered the phrase, "you little fucker," to their cat at least once in their life. There are many movies that have used our feline companions to scare us, but I don't think any have tackled the idea with as much brass as the flick we are discussing today. The 1992 hit Sleepwalkers. This was the first Stephen King story wrote for the purpose of film, whereas his previous movies were brought to life through adaptations. Not only that, Sleepwalkers was directed by horror legend Mick Garris. With the amount of firepower this movie had on and off camera, I'm surprised it isn't discussed more. Hopefully we can fix that problem today by putting some respect on its name. So kick back and relax and let us entertain and educate you about your favorite vampire creature cat movie. This is Sloppy Horror Podcast, and this is our take on Sleepwalkers. Welcome to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host and your scary movie companion, Christian Ramey. And back again for another week, clapping them cheeks, the best producer in the whole wide world, Mr. Ozark Mark. Ozark, how you doing this morning? We're recording in the morning time.
We are recording in the morning time, which is fantastic. I have a fantastic hangover. This is a wonderful day for everybody. How are you all doing? I hope you all are doing good. But we're here for you, like we always are, because this is the Sloppy Horror Podcast, and we're talking scary movies, and we're here to entertain you, because you probably got nothing better to do than listen to us. So this is fantastic. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing today, Christian Ramey? This is an exciting day, as they always are, but what are we talking about today?
Aside from nursing our coffee and pre-workout, we are talking about Sleepwalkers. This is it's a sleeper is what this movie is. It's not many people talk about this, and it should be talked about more. Obviously, within the horror world, I hear people discuss it all the time. But as far as like an impact, as far as during Halloween time, as far as TikTok, as far as other platforms that I see, I don't often see this movie all the time being talked about. And it kind of bothers me. So I definitely wanted to discuss it. And I felt like it was perfect for the rehab season. Because as I mentioned in the intro, this was Stephen King's first story he wrote for just a movie. Like everything else was like an adaptation. Somebody read the book and they're like, cool, let's make this a movie. Whereas this was the first time he's like writing a screenplay for a movie. And all of those just have a book feeling to them. They just carry like a book. There's an innocence to them. Even though there's scary stories, they're fun. It's not rock your socks off scary. And there's a point that I want to make. Because every time, or a lot of times you hear people, like, oh, what's the scariest movie ever? What's the one that's going to get you the most? And to be honest, that's not what it's always about. I mean, I'm not always looking for intensity all day. Sometimes it's Sunday afternoon, you're folding laundry, you gotta have a movie to throw on. You need something that's kind of matching the tone. And sometimes the Stephen King book movies, they're so rich with character development, and there's an innocence to them that I really appreciate and I like. And I think if you're going to be a broad fan of horror, you got to have a lot of different things. You want a good laugh. You need some Return of the Living Dead. You want a good fucking terrifying religious scare. Throw on The Exorcism of Emily Rose or The Exorcist. Throw on something. You want a good slasher, you go to something else. But this is just something of its own. It's a feel-good movie. It's almost like a movie you could watch with your like mom or grandma or something. You know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds weird, but it's just got that kind of tone to it.
Yeah, I've never heard of this movie prior to doing this episode. So, you told me to watch it. I watched it for the first time. Mm-hmm. So some of you, I'm in the same boat as you guys. And it's definitely interesting. It's definitely a different kind of movie. You can definitely tell it's a Stephen King, but you were right. It doesn't feel like a normal type of Stephen King movie, because you were right. It's not an adaptation. This is just strictly like a movie. It does not feel like a book. It's different than what you're used to from Stephen King. So that's good. It's a very interesting story. It's a very weird story too. I mean, these people's enemies are cats.
Yes,
like that's
dude.
your enemy is a cat.
Yeah,
it's a weird take. I've never seen a story like this, or at least can't remember one like this. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting. Very different type of movie here.
Yeah, definitely its own originality. And I'll lay out a quick synopsis here for you folks who haven't seen it. So what happens is you have high schoolers here. You have, your girl next door, the sweet girl Tanya. She's a cool girl. She works at the movie theater. There's a boy new to her school named Charles.
How old is she supposed to be in this movie?
I'm probably 16, but she looks 24 because she is 24.
Good, because she is a smoke show.
Oh yeah, that chick's super hot. She's been in a bunch of shit that I don't watch, like Gilmore Girls, and there's people screaming right now, like that's. And she has like a name I can't pronounce.
Oh, okay. Does she? Okay.
I'm sure I could, like, if I looked at it, I could, but just glancing it from the few times I always read it, I'm like, yep, not learning it. Unless I hear it pronounced, like, I'm not learning it. There's, like, yeah. So, but she's great. She's super hot. And there's this guy, Charles, that comes to school, and also another 24-year-old, like this super handsome guy. He comes to school, and he's super charming, super nice guy. Well, there's a little foreboding going on because you see scenes with Charles and his mom, and there's some little creepy, weird ancestral relationship going on.
Yeah, they're banging each other, which is what's it? When did this movie come out?
1992.
1992. So that was odd. Now, sad thing is, if you go on the internet,
I know
that is the normalest shit ever.
I'm stuck in the dryer.
Ancestral.
I'm stuck in a dryer, step bro. Help me out.
God, what is it? That's like the hottest thing on the internet.
A lot of broken families.
I guess so. The forbidden fruit kind of thing, I guess. But man, they let you know that they are in an ancestral relationship, and they come at you hard with that. So be prepared for that.
Yeah. So they're together, and you're kind of like, what's their whole scheme? Because this Charles is trying to persuade young Tanya out on a date with him. He finally does. He reveals his true form to be a kind of, it's a creature almost. And these creatures, they suck the soul out of people, almost like a vampire, but not your blood. It's almost like a weird blue aura light that looks very 1992-ish, but it's a lot of fun. And it's not, there's not enough of it in the movie for me to really, for it to bother me. They tastefully used it because I think they knew their limitations even at that point.
It only comes up like once or twice.
Exactly. So Charles and his mom are like these demon creature things that they call the Sleepwalkers, and they almost look like hairless, burnt, human-sized cats. Like they're like these melted, bald cats. Like it's really hard to describe what the hell they look like. But what they need to do is suck the soul out of people to stay alive, to feed. But their only enemy, as Ozark said, is cats. And there's a lot that's funny about this, because anybody that has cats like knows that they are kind of like dicks in a way.
Your enemy are cats. That's such an odd enemy.
I know, dude.
It's like not intimidating. Like cats are always like one of the cutest animals. Like not everybody loves cats, but nobody is intimidated by cats, I don't think.
So
cats.
It gets to a point where all these stray cats are aware of these people moving into town, and then like eventually these guys have like fucking 60, 100 like cats in their yard, and they're all like,
Dude.
Could you imagine if you looked in your backyard?
There's just like 50 cats out there.
You would
all
be
you
like,
hear is, meow.
Babe, there's like 50 cats out here. You're high, go to bed. No, I'm serious. There is cats out here. There is a lot of cats out here. There is something going on. Like, there are 50 cats in our yard. Like, could you imagine? I just want to shake a bowl of fucker. Like,
oh, dude. That would be... Don't imagine.
Dude, a hungry cat is the most annoying creature on the face that they'll wake you up.
Oh, dude, I have both. I have cats and I have dogs.
Yeah,
and I have a very annoying dogs in the morning when they're hungry. I have one that does little 360s on the bed all way and just fucking goes nuts in the morning. Doesn't matter. Cats, hungry cats are way more annoying because, like, one, if the cat will wake you up regardless, and it won't stop meowing. If you have one of those cats, meow, it's one of those long ones too, and you know what the most annoying thing about it is? You try to solve the problem like I am walking to feed your stupid ass. You know what they do? They stop right in front of your feet and try to murder you.
They brush in front of you and shit.
They brush in front of you. They stand right in your way. They try to murder you on the way.
And then they stand in the way of the fucking food bowl. You're like, move out of the way. Do you want this or not? And they're just like rubbing their body on the bowl. Like, you're like,
every
dude,
single person, I don't care who you are, every cat owner has cussed out their cat.
You little fucker.
Like, will you get the fuck out of the way, please?
They're always so goddamn dramatic, and they're awesome for the fact that they don't require much.
No.
But god damn it, when they are hungry, they will let you know. And they are like little lions, man. They are kind of interesting. If you've ever seen like a cat roll around when it's like, I don't know how friendly your cats are with your dogs, but like my cats and dogs are like brothers and sisters. Like they roll
mine
around.
Too. Like they'll all sleep. They'll sleep back to back. They'll spoon with each other.
Mm-hmm.
All the things.
When they roll around and fight, like cats are like, I don't know, dude. They just have like a crazy symmetry to them, and like they're smart. Like even when they're play fighting, it's like a lion, bro. They go for your neck. They'll grab you and they'll go for your neck. Like they know. It's just instinctual. Have you ever seen a cat see a bird out the window? Dude, they make weird fucking noises, and you're like, dude, what's going on, man? And
they make like their own bird noises. I can't even do it. I don't know what that noise is, but she made it. I don't even know what that was.
And you
I used to have a house when I was younger. I saw a cat eat a whole bumblebee.
And you know what's funny? It's like, some dogs are like just straight brute athletes, but for the most part, even if your dog's like chasing after a squirrel, if that squirrel is like, hey, fuck you, right back, your dog might do the and run for a second, or might be startled, or it's going to bring it to you. A cat is going right for the kill, bro. Like if it gets that thing it's getting, it's killing it. And it's like, you could definitely see why they kept them in barns and whatever. And it's like kind of the Chucky element, like where Chucky can't kill you, just toe to toe. But like if he's got a little planning, he could fuck you up. As we mentioned, there's 50 cats, bro. Like there are scenes in this movie where there are gaggles of cats jumping on people, and that, I'm not saying it's scary. Hey, it's hilarious because they add great sound effects in this where it's like they're jumping on them and they're getting them. But there is a really funny shot where the first cat attack scene happens, where Charles is like he reveals himself to Tanya. She almost gets away. Cop tries to help. There's a big fight with Charles and this cop. Well, then all of a sudden this cop's cat, which we're going to talk about in a second, jumps on to this dude. And it's like, like how in Major League Baseball they have a logo, or in NBA they have a logo of the guy with the ball. I want a logo of this scene of like the cat in air, and like, because he's got this perfect pose. As soon as the cat comes up, he's like, ah! And the cat gets him. It goes right for his face. And they use this scene where, it doesn't look really fake, but it's hilarious because the cat's head's like very like just attacking his face, dude. And I laugh from the deepest part of my soul when I watch it because it's just fucking funny, man. It's just funny. And I'm not in an insulting way, because this is directed by Mick Garris. He's a horror legend. The guy knows his shit. Critters 2, he did The Shining, not the original, but the Stephen King one. Dude's a fucking legend. The Stand. It's just the cat aspect. If you're a cat owner, could you imagine, like, if somebody came into your house and your cat did that, they're like, ah! Like, attacked your friend, and he's like, ah! Like, just went for the kill. Even though you would help him, there would be laughs. You'd be like, dude, I don't know what just happened. There's a funny video that circulated online, and I almost made me feel like it was on Tosh.0 or something. No, that was something else. That was the other N64 kid. But there was a kid, He wasn't a kid, actually. I feel like he was like a 19, 20-year-old kid. Okay, whatever. He's unwrapping a present, and it's like a gaming system. I don't know if it's like a PS something or an N64. He's got something, right? And he's like freaking out, and this cat attacks the shit out of him. And this is a real video. This isn't a movie. Like, he just got too excited, and this cat, like, literally like face-hugger from Alien just jumps on his face and just tears him up. And dude, like, head was leaking. It's so funny. Like, you have to watch it if you're looking out. Look up
dude, we brought
cat
in,
attacks dude opening Christmas present.
It depends on the cat. It's no joke. Cassandra, my wife, got attacked by our family's cats because we tried to bring a stray cat to them because they said they would take it. Because that's what you do. You find a stray cat. It doesn't leave. You got to do something with it, But that cat did not like other cats. So we tried to introduce them to each other. And this cat just goes at her and just launches and just bites the shit out of her leg. Like, she was leaking. Like, this cat launched on and, like, turned into a goddamn demon or something, dude, out of nowhere. It just went fucking nuts.
What about the one of the most classic ones of that old school cop trying to sell that cat, and he's like, it's like a thing for the news. He's like, this little fella here could be a good pet for you or whatever, and he has him on a leash.
Yeah.
And he ends up crawling up his leg and bites him like right near his dick. He's like, ah! Like, dude rips this cat off of him, like, and the cat, like, if you have a leashed cat, like, this thing is just like spinning in so many ways. They're just funny fucking animals.
They're very funny animals.
Dogs are too, but they're a little more predictable. Like, you don't know what a cat's gonna do. The reason, like, when they throw a cucumber down and they like freak out. Like,
I've tried that. It doesn't work for my cats. I've wanted to try that for so long. It don't work.
Mine, like, I had a cat that didn't like oven mitts. Like, did not like oven mitts. Like, if I walked up to him with them, yeah, it was like ears instantly back and just like attacking me. I'm like, I know. Where'd your hands go? What the fuck? Like, that's what they're. Oh, he used to have fingers. You just didn't get it. Didn't make sense to him.
Fucking cats.
So we got this whole laydown of cats attacking these fun creatures. What we need to talk about, and there's going to be some more of this, we're going to wait for our guys to come in later for some what do you know stuff, but there's a crazy cast for this, dude. I mean, they're all great actors and actresses in this movie. Everything really, it doesn't seem, because it's not talked about like an A-budget movie, but this movie, when it came out, was the #1 in the box office the week it came out. It didn't remain, but the first week it came out, it was #1.
That's about usual for a horror movie, honestly, if it's going to make any kind of pull. It doesn't, because, I mean, once you see it, most people, only need to see the horror movie once, because they're going just for that. So that's about normal for a horror movie to stay up there for like a week if it's a big one.
Now,
that seems normal to me.
Yeah. Now, if you're out in public and the uniqueness and the individuality to it, like if you're out in the grocery store or something, you hear somebody saying like, "What was that movie with like the vampire cat people?" You'd know immediately. You're like, Sleepwalkers, dude. Like, they'd be like, "Oh, that was a good one." There is nothing else like that. I really can't put my finger on any other movie that really. There's been plenty of cats in horror movies that have done like the foreshadowing or the foreboding, like you're like, what was that? And it's just like, oh, it's just marbles. And then they get their head cut off. They ease you and then they get you. There's always a lot of cats in that sense.
No, this is a very odd story, but it seems normal.
Cats are the heroes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're the heroes.
Yeah.
like, dude, that would be that you would get them so many treats because cats never do anything to save you. So, like, if you were outside about to get fucked up by some people and, like, your cats came to the rescue, you'd be like, oh, my God. Oh my God! Like you can't even wrestle with family. Your dogs freak out. Like they're gonna come and like bite you, or they're gonna police you at least. But a cat, I feel like they can watch you knife fight, and they're like, whatever, dude, whatever. I'm gonna eat your body as soon as it hits the ground. like I don't care about you anymore. He comes to save you. A group of them. If I would feel so honored, dude, I would walk around like Ace Ventura. That would be my thing. Like I'd be like Catboy, Catman at that point. I don't, you know.
Catboy.
Yeah, like PJ Masks, you know, Catboy. That would be me, man. Yeah, dude, holy shit, that's just really fun concept. So you got a lot of cameos in this movie, which we'll get deeper into. But for 1992. I do want to say the special effects, there are limitations in certain parts of it. But honestly, like even the face morph scenes, because it kind of reminds me, I'm showing off my nerdism a little bit, but some people out there, listeners, might remember Buffy the Vampire Slayer. When they would change from human to vampires, they had like that cool face switch, and it was done okay. I mean, for 1992, I wasn't watching it super pissed. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God. So it has its limitations, but without people being adventurous at that time frame, you wouldn't have the stuff we have now. But there were some pretty cool scenes. Like they had the ability to make themselves invisible if they really concentrated hard enough and like whatever they're in. So dude like made his whole ass car invisible, just like on the side of the highway when he's getting chased by that cop Andy. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go out there. Andy is probably my favorite character in the movie.
Yes.
And his cat Clovis.
Yes, those are that I agree 100%. There's nothing funnier than a grown man driving. Yeah, what's up, Clovis? Yeah, get that motherfucker, yeah. Like to a cat.
He's this grown-ass man, and he loves this cat. And first off, I don't know what police force is letting you ride around with the cat, but that's cool. I like that. That's a lot of fun. But he has an encounter with this guy, with the Sleepwalker. Charles does, this cop does. They have an encounter, and Charles does the face morph when he sees Clovis. Because obviously he's afraid of cats.
Yep.
And the cop's like, yo, what the fuck? And he chases him. He's trying to catch him, and he can't. Like, dude disappears because he makes his car invisible. So he goes back to the police station, and he's telling everybody, like, yo, I don't know what I saw, but his face was like a blur. And the other cops are like, that one cop was funny. He's like, Andy, you got a whole lot of vacation time coming to you. Like, because he's talking crazy. And he's like, sounds like you had some grit in your eye. Why don't you go back? And once we finally catch this guy, why don't you leave out that whole part about his face being a blur? Like, they're like, dude, what are you on? He's like, okay, but I'm going to go find this guy because I didn't like it one bit. And Clovis got to look at him. He didn't like him one bit neither either.
Clovis. That's your cat's name. Clovis.
He didn't like him one bit either.
It's such a funny name to hear him say, what's up, Clovis?
And then like the fact that he was the one that attacked Charles at first. He's just this squeak cat. And then wow, like he leaps out like a fucking, like a badass. And what's crazy is when they're attacking these sleepwalkers, they eventually catch on fire. If they get enough attacks from the cats, it like burns their flesh, and eventually they erupt into flames, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
I know, dude. Like, because he was burning up. You remember, like, Clovis attacked him, and he's, like, literally smoking from the face. And he makes his way home, and he's like, Mom, my face is so hot. And when he's kind of, like, decomposing and looking all messed up, he looks pretty cool, especially for 92. Like, it's all makeup effects. It looks pretty sweet, man. Pretty creepy. Like, kind of like, if you were to see this as a kid, you remember that.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know about these guys. This is strange. Like, they got a whole look to them, and nothing like you've ever seen before. There's no other creature I can really parallel it to within the horror community. So, definitely a lot of fun in that sense. Who's your favorite character? You think Andy, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty fun.
It's Andy. He's the funniest one.
Yeah.
His scenes are hilarious.
You know who else what's his name? Glenn Shattucks? Is that how you say that guy's name? The guy that was in Beetlejuice. He played Otho. He was the mean teacher in this. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The dark-haired guy. So that guy's dead now. Glenn Shattucks. Yeah, that's right. That's his name. He passed away. But this guy, I loved all the movies he did, dude. Did you ever see that one with Michael Keaton, Multiplicity? where he made a bunch of clones of himself. If you haven't, that's a real funny one.
Wasn't he in Dustin Checks In?
Dunstan Checks In, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. He had Neil, the little dog. He's like, I named him Neil after Neil Armstrong.
He plays that character. He's played that kind of character in like half of the movies.
Dude.
It's great.
Yeah, that guy was a lot of fun. And I thought his role in this movie was really perfect. He was definitely a bad guy. And one thing that, I mean, obviously once we get into the rating, we'll get like a finer number to it, but there's some great gore in this. Glenn Shattuck gets his hand ripped off.
And then he runs away through the woods. He's like, I'm sorry. Like, that's going to help. I'm sorry.
No one was expecting that part.
No.
No one was expecting that part. Because you get the weird mom and son relationship, and you're like, okay, this is weird. And then the principal is like, yo, I know you're not from where you say you are. I know you're not who you are.
You think there'd be a showdown later, not just settled right then and there.
Bro ripped his hand off. Like, it was a lot of fun. I definitely like that. And you know what else we got in this, Mark? Death by corn on the cob. Have you ever seen somebody dead by corn? You have now.
No, you have. I got eaten one, too.
Just stabbed him.
There's nothing funnier than seeing somebody dead on the ground with blood pouring out of your back, and it's a piece of corn that you got stabbed with.
And not a sharp corn on the cob. Just a dull ass.
You got killed by starch.
Yeah.
Starch.
Size of like a paint roller, just like right through your spine. Like,
ow.
Right. So some great gore. I love this whole, from the special effects of them as the creatures when he's bleeding out to the cat attacks. Very tasteful. Very well done. And honestly, I think out of all of Mick Garris's movies, this is probably the one that I like the most. I've definitely enjoyed his podcast a lot. His Postmortem podcast, I listen to that, and anytime he talks about this movie, I'm like, man, we need to do this. So I'm glad that we're finally here. We're finally here telling you stuff we know about this movie.
Is that the segue? Okay, I think it's going to pop up right now. Well, hey there, hi there, oh there. Welcome to the What Do You Know here. This is the segment here where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movies. Now, you know the spiel. Do I have to do it? Do I have to do the spiel? I'm going to do the spiel here.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you right now. If you don't know what we know, you're about to find out what we know. But if you know what we know, we're going to know together. But no matter if you know or if you don't know, but you're about to find out you know what we all know together, it don't matter. You're going to have a we know gasm.
We all together.
Yes. It's going to feel brain. It's going to ooze out fucking knowledge. So, why don't you tell me something about this movie that I may or may not know here?
Look here.
I'm trying to look.
So we was, they was talking about some cameos here.
Cameos.
I love this in horror movies. I love when people do this. I love this. So what we got going on? Well, there's a Stephen King. He comes in after this accident happens. There's Stephen King. He does a little cameo, and he's saying, like, look, it's not my fault a bunch of horny teenagers come in here. And he tells, like, 3 or 4 people in a row. It's really funny, and everybody's like, don't tell me, tell him. And, like, he just keeps and does the same spiel.
It's a good little spiel.
But every one of those people that keep telling him to go to another person, they're all horror legends, okay?
What do you mean?
Clive Barker.
Clive Barker.
Toby Hooper.
Toby Hooper.
Okay, Joe Dante.
Joe Dante.
We've discussed him so far this season already, okay? And then, on top of that, we got all these guys together. They're making little cameos. And John Landis, American Werewolf in London. So what's neat about this to me, even though this is 1992, and there's been some movies out for some time, it's easy to be a hater if you're if you're an artist, if you're like, if you're a music artist and somebody asks you about another band, you're like, oh, fuck that other band. Like, that makes sense. Or like, whatever. So it's kind of cool, like how Wes Craven and Sam Raimi, how they featured each other in their movies. It's nice to see everybody working together and saying like, hey, look here, we're making a good movie. Because all these guys were on set and they were helping out. So this movie is like, kind of like, I mean, it's Stephen King and Mick Garris, but it's just got the little touch and fingertips of horror legends throughout the whole thing. And it's kind of a cool little ensemble, and it's something that you might miss if you weren't a horror nerd like myself. So there you go.
I totally missed it. I did not see it. I recognized Stephen King. That was about it. What a fact. I did not know that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, what do you know?
I know something here. Let me tell you something here. Okay, so we're talking about the girls in this movie. Parents.
Which one, Tanya?
Yeah, Tanya.
Okay.
Tanya's parents. Okay, you see them, their parents, for about, maybe an eighth of the movie or something they're in.
Yep.
Her mom and dad, You recognize these people?
I think I know where you're going
You think
here, Mark.
you know where these people are from? These are the same parents that are in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. These are Ferris Bueller's parents.
That's amazing.
Did you fucking know that? You didn't know that at all, did you?
Look, that's something for your ass. And let me sprinkle something else in there, Mark. They got, they had an actual marriage. These two people got married for real. So in the time of this movie, they were actually married. I guess they had such a fucking fun time making Ferris Bueller. They said, let's bang for real. Let's bang for real. Let's make this thing official.
That's like a real life love story. How romantic.
Yeah.
They should make a movie about that.
Look, we're boomers. We can get 5 marriages. It's not a big deal.
No big deal.
Our kids will be okay.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. We'll see what happens. Boom, here we are. Kids are in a basement wearing hats. What are you gonna do?
I hope you're proud of you.
Thanks, Grandpa.
All right.
Look, that's some good facts.
Those are great fucking facts. I don't know if I have any other facts. You got any other facts?
Well, I can sprinkle in this. I do know. I know originally they had another director for this movie, but that director tried to pull some real cowboy shit.
That seems like a very common fact with these movies is directors are not the original directors. It was supposed to be some director, but it turns out to be somebody else.
I guess this other guy.
It's a very common thing here.
Yeah, this other guy was actually enough of the part where he was changing the script up, and that's a bit. I mean, you got Stephen King. You don't go around changing the script up on Stephen King. That's not how it works. And like, what's strange is like, when you go to the ratings of this movie, like a lot of people, the reviews aren't that great. The audience score is great, but a lot of people, ranked on it. But I highly disagree. I like cats.
I like cats too.
Yeah, sure. Scrambles and marbles. You can name them those names. Yeah, those are fun facts.
Boots. It's just boots. I love when people fucking name their cats regular people names.
Yes.
Like Larry, Tom, or
you remember
Bill.
Frank?
Yeah, Frank. Fucking Frank.
Come here, Frank. What are
Frank
you doing?
was the funniest name. Anyways.
That's good stuff.
That's great stuff.
Yeah,
Are there any more facts in your goddamn head that you know here?
I'm hungry.
Okay, that's great. Me too. Okay, we're gonna send it back to the other guys because we're done here.
We gotta get out of here. Mark, you remember sock 'em boppers? They were like inflatable gloves. You can get them in a pool.
Yes.
They had like a sponge on them, and you could just haymaker the shit out of your loved ones.
Yes.
I
loved sock and boppers.
Yeah, I guess there's a reason they're not out anymore. But we used to love those things.
Yes, those were awesome.
Yeah, man.
Let me ask you this question here.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a place, somebody else's house? Have you ever wiped a booger on their couch? Or left a booger behind in somebody's house? Have you ever done that? Because there's a time where you just got to pick your nose and you don't know what to do with it, so you flick it in somebody's house. Have you ever done that?
Maybe not in the house, but I definitely am a fan of the snot rocket. You know, it needs to happen in public sometimes, and I don't care. Like, it's just in there, especially in the wintertime when you're, like, sniffling and shit, and you're like, bro, this gotta go. I don't have a fucking napkin or a paper towel or anything in my pocket, so you just hit it with the quick, like...
Dude, it's so satisfying when you get the snot rocket and it comes out clean.
Oh, yeah. And like, I think... if you're a real one, you would see somebody. You got to do it professionally. You can't be over there looking like you're in overalls. You can't be doing that shit. But if you do the clean, the clean snot rocket, from a distance, I will look at you and I'll say, "Good day, sir. Good job. Yeah, that's good. That's good." How bomb is it in the morning to take a piss, brush your teeth, and blow your nose? Those 3 things, you're back to life somewhat. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, if I don't blow my nose, I feel like a Thanksgiving Day parade float. Like, I have to blow my nose, dog.
Dude, there's legit sometimes in the morning where I will literally pee for 2 minutes straight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just does not stop.
You're like, what's going on here? What happened? How's this in there?
I don't know.
Where's this coming from? What's happening here? Then your cats probably bug you because they're hungry.
Oh, yeah. Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what a fun concept we have here. We're laying it down. I guess it's important for me to ask, Ozark Mark. I mean, you to ask, what's your favorite part?
Andy talking to Clover. Or Clovis.
Yeah.
In his car.
It's
just so funny. What's up, Glover? Yeah, you want that? You get that motherfucker. Like I said before, like he's just so funny the way this grown police officer of a man is riding around and playing with his cat. It's so funny to me.
We can't go this whole podcast either without talking about that. And Mick Garris says, he's like, I've never shot a music video, but he says, I did shoot that awkward dance scene in Sleepwalkers. Where the girl's dancing?
Yeah.
There's a killer soundtrack to this movie. First off, they got that Sleepwalk, that one from La Bamba, that dun 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 dun, like that. Mm-hmm. It's just a classic beat. I love that song. And then, bro, they're bumping Enya, and like, that beat has been used for like 8 different songs, like the.
Dude, I cannot tell you how bad I wanted the Fugees just to come in, just ready or not, here I come, you can't hide.
I'm gonna find you.
God, I'm just waiting for it. I was like,
you remember?
Even I was like, the song hasn't even come out yet, but I was like, is Fugees about to fucking blast this movie, end this movie?
Like, that beat was forever. You remember when we were in high school, that Mario Winans, dude? I don't wanna know.
Listen,
if everybody, you're playing me.
Everybody hears this beat, and unfortunately, they don't. Very rarely do people think of Sleepwalkers. You're not going to think of Sleepwalkers when you hear this beat. You're going to think of something else. Everybody hears something else of what this, except for the original, because it's been used so many times.
You can't say 90s more than Enya. La, 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 la. They make that weird ass music, dog, but it's like kind of cool. Like, it's kind of cool in a sense. It's definitely 90s as shit. And
what's
and then what was she dancing to? Do you love me?
Yeah,
that's a jam. Do the mashed potato. Everybody, mashed potato. Don't put that on and don't dance. I dare you. Don't move a muscle. You can't.
Right. What's your favorite part, Christian Ramey?
Man, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. Like, my heart wants to say, like, that scene where Charles reveals himself to Glenn and then rips his hand off, because the whole tone of the movie really kind of switches there. But I'm going to have to go for that final showdown because, as you mentioned, Mark, Charles and his mom have been hurting these cats because they got traps around their house. And then a couple come in and his mom, like, straight breaks their neck. So it's pretty satisfying because Charles you kind of feel for a little bit because he didn't have a choice and he's young, but the mom's a total butch. And these cats, dude, they come in and they fuck her world up. It is one of the funniest things I've ever seen because, A, there are real cats in this jumping. And then, like, there are puppets and things used, like, on the body, but, like, there are some real cats in here. So, like, that had to be the craziest day of filming. How do you train cats? How do you get cats to do anything?
I don't think you can.
Bro, you deserve an Oscar just for cat wrangling. And they're outside. Like, they're not in a house, bro. Like, these are in a field. Like, good luck keeping these cats sitting there. Like, I'm just so perplexed by all that. And then they all attack this lady. And it's so... What would you do, bro, if fucking 50 cats jumped on you? Like, that would be... And they're tripping out, these cats. They're making those wild, like...
Oh, yeah. The high pitch.
And it's so crazy. So I really enjoyed that scene because it was like something I'll never forget. Then she ends up burning up in flames. And I'll never forget that, man. That's probably the scene that stuck out to me. But I really do enjoy the scene where the principal or that teacher gets his hand ripped off. That's a lot of fun. Just because that was like... You know it was kind of creepy, and you know it's a scary thing, but like that like made it like yeah, bro, there's gore in this movie. We ain't playing games up in here. We just ripped his hand off, and it wasn't a casual. He looked up at his arm. It's like spurting blood. There's bones sticking out. And yo, what about, because there's a cop in here, young Ron Perlman, you know, Hellboy.
Yep.
He's in this. And there's a part where the mom, she wants to...
How is he... How did this man become an actor? He's so weird looking.
That's probably why,
He's
bro.
so
like,
odd looking.
Yeah, that's probably why. He's got this... I watched this weird show where he was like a judge. I feel like it had like angel or demon or devil or something in it. I don't remember. But it was... I remember watching it. It was halfway decent. I just stopped watching it. Anyways, he's a cop. He's trying to stop this mom from dragging Tanya's body away into a car. And he's like, you stop right there. She straight bites his fingers off, bro. And then when he goes to like hit her with his arm, she grabs his wrist and snaps his forearm. And like the bone pops out of the skin. It was like pretty fucking gnarly. Like, since the movie has that book tone and like that innocence, you just aren't expecting that level of like, oh, like, okay, like this is okay. And it's just enough, man. There's a wide variety of injuries in this movie and enough to keep you going. They're consistent enough. It's not like it makes you wait an hour for them. Like, it's got like kind of a perfect pace to keep you like, what's next?
I wish I could just look at a car, shoot it once, and explode.
Oh, yeah, 90s magic, baby.
Who came up with that concept that if you shoot a car, it'll just explode?
Yeah, man, I think, video cameras being out, and then, like, even, like, not, like, in a weird term, but, like, 9/11, like, you see things of that nature happen. You're like, oh, well, I saw that happen and I know what happened. So you can't like convince me that like, so you shoot a car, it's going to explode. Those 80s and 90s explosions were just like, you're like, dude, did you just catch the ocean on fire? I don't know if that's possible, bro. Like, what was that? You just blew up a naval carrier and now the Atlantic Ocean is on fire. Like, I don't know if that's how that works. But in the same light, it made for some good entertainment. And probably a lot of fun to shoot. Like, seriously, dude. Like, we talked about that with the American Werewolf in London. Like, that final scene, like, that final, like, showdown where everything's... How fun was that day? Yeah, it was probably busy and hectic, but, like, when you look back in life, that's, like, probably one of the most... As a creator... When you're like balls deep into making something that like to the everyday public, if you were to go into a restaurant and you're like, yeah, man, I'm making this like vampire cat thing. He's going to catch on fire today and we got to wrap that up and all these cats are going to jump on him. It's a lot of fun. They'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? What? So when you're like, yeah, man, I'm going to go talk scary movies on a Saturday morning and we're going to lay down a podcast. People are like, huh, until it's something. Until it's something. So I appreciate that energy that people put into passion projects. Because, like, movies like these don't have to exist. Like, Batman's have to exist. Certain movies just have to exist. Love movies, whatever. But, like, horror movies do not. The vampire cat creature movie didn't have to exist. But people in their heart said, look, we're going to throw this together, put a lot of passion into it. And I don't know, man. I think that's kind of cool to me. Just as a person who has put a lot of energy into random passion projects, and it's late in the night, and you're like, what am I doing? And you're like, oh, okay, all right, stay focused. Like, you know, because if you start thinking about it. But, like, even that shot behind you, that's a great picture you picked, by the way. Like, that's some good work, man.
That's some great work, man.
That's
a lot of hours went into that.
Yeah, I'd love that mask. Like, that would be a cool-ass mask to have down here.
Could. That's absolutely. Absolutely. I'm curious, Christian Ramey. Let's get into a rating for this bad boy here.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah!
Whoopity-da-dee-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. We're here to rate this movie as a horror movie. Not as a movie in general, but as a horror movie. I'm not going to do it. Christian Ramey's going to do it. He is the horror nerd. He knows his stuff. And he's going to give you a 10-point system here for the movie Sleepwalkers, 1992. How does that work, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. I'm glad you did ask because, you got to know. We do this in a series of 4 categories. Treat categories worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of
10 points altogether.
Yes, it is. So let's tackle this bad boy. Let's get this going.
You know, let's just get the day started.
Let's
get a jump on it, and let's just get on it, guy.
Let's rock and roll.
Hey, big guy, we got a big day ahead of us, all right? Make sure you get your shoes on, champ. We've got a lot of stuff to do.
I'll know I hit old if I ever do something and I say, let's rock and roll.
Bro, I am so old. I am so old, dude. There are times I have left my kid, saying stuff at their door frame, like, all right, well, we got a big day ahead, so just make sure you rest up and, get yourself all tucked in.
Got a big day ahead of us.
And I'm thinking, we don't have anything to do tomorrow.
Anyway, enough of that. Let's get on to the first category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. That is casting.
Look, dog. That chick that's in everything, and I can't pronounce her name, that played the smoke show Tanya in this. Amazing, bro. We've just mentioned all of these actors and actresses. You got Ferris Bueller's parents. All right. They're pretty awesome. All these horror legends. You even had Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker. He made a cameo in this at the beginning. He was one of the cops. Pretty cool. When they find the body initially, the crime scene afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go in enough on why casting matters, and it used to be a thing. I remember I did read something that Julia Roberts was considered to be picked for the main girl. They used to do a lot more into casting. Now it's just who's it? Who's popular? You want to get Kevin Hart and put him in our movie? I'm not saying that these aren't good movies or Kevin Hart can't act or anything of that nature. Just the structure of the business has changed, and I feel like they would really went harder because you had to rely a lot more on your story. This is a 3 to me, dude. This is 100% a 3. I love every character in this movie. Thought the son killed it, like Charles and his mom. Thought they were great. Thought everybody killed it. And what book character names you have? Charles Brady, Mary Brady, Tanya Robertson. Isn't that her name?
Charles.
First off, I'm glad you said that real quick. Nobody says, because isn't in Beetlejuice, isn't the guy's name Charles too? The guy who owns the house, the dad's name in Beetlejuice, Charles? Nobody says Charles like him. No. Charles? Dude, he adds 9 A's in there. Charles?
I love the way he says Charles. Charles.
Hold on, Charles. Thank you for reminding me of that. Okay, so 3 out of 3 for casting.
Tree for casting. That's 3 out of 10 so far after one category. We're going on to the second category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is...
I'm sorry.
Shut
Why
up.
is that so funny?
Charles. That
Mark?
is kills.
So, I was rewatching this again last night, and I was thinking man, I don't want to be just because I like this movie to give it a high rating on kills, but dude, you got a corn on the cob death, you're ripping hands out here, you got bodies catching on fire, okay, even went after the parents, there's a lot of different scenes in here where people are getting torn up in a different variety of ways. Mark, I want your assistance on this one, okay? This is always the category where I like help with.
Sure. You want help? You want my help?
Yeah,
You want my opinion?
Yeah, I
Let's
just
go through
think I think it's a 3.
It's not a 3. I don't consider it a 3. Let's see. What the F we got? We got a gunshot to the cop.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that pencil to the ear. I know he didn't die right away, but like he almost died.
We got a man gets his hand ripped off and eaten.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 kills. What else do we have? We have a couple cat deaths. We have Charles ends up catching on fire. Both of the sleepwalkers catch on fire, so that's like 4 or 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
but she comes in. Well, she doesn't kill Tanya's parents. She just beats their ass.
and some guy gets stabbed with corn. So that was pretty intense.
Yeah.
I think the levels of them aren't up there for a 3.
Okay,
just
maybe
because
the gore and Ron Perlman.
Well, the gore, yeah, but I mean, just the intense. Like, they're not intense kills. They're just there because they have to be. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the kills isn't emphasized. Like, that's not the main focus. They're just like, oh, here's another kill. It's like, no, this scene is all about the kill and how he's doing it. No, she's like, he stabs him and he's gone.
So it's like there's subcategories within the kill category, because you are very correct. This ranks very high within the variety of kills, but not the intensity of kills.
Right, so that's why I give it a 2, because a 3 out of 3 is like the kills. That's something that makes the movie is the
some
kills.
like Hostile 2 shit.
Yeah, and the kills don't make this movie. I think other elements in this movie make this movie more than the kills do. But they're still good. There's still a good amount of kills. They're still there.
To give you a 2,
I would say it's a 2.
Let's go 2.
I'd say it's a
2.
solid 2.
That's a solid 2.
Thank you. So that's 5 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating of Sleepwalkers. We're going on to the final 3-point category here, and that is fear.
Not very scary. Just for the fact that everyone has cats around. So like, you're gonna be good. If you got cats, there ain't nothing to fear. If you got a couple cats, bro, you're like a boss levels, bro. Mm-hmm. Your crazy aunt, she's like a war general. She's got 12 cats, bro. She's ready for war.
Well, yeah.
You know, so not scary. Maybe frightening elements if you're a young individual, and we'll let Mark maybe tell how young that is, but I'm going to give this a 1. Is like, because I don't want to give it a half a point just because they did so well on the makeup and the gore that, like, I don't know, maybe if you're young enough and you see this at the right age, like, this is definitely something, like, if someone our age said, like, yo, I watched that as a kid and it fucked me up.
I'm sure it has.
So
I'm sure every horror movie has fucked somebody up.
So I'm going to give it a 1 out of that principle, because the gore was done tastefully, and there's some good makeup, and it's honestly a rich little story there that they got going on. And if you get caught into it, you're like, okay, this is an enthralling story enough where it's got me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, it's more interesting than it is fearful.
Yes.
So that's great. So that's 1 point. So that brings us to 6 out of 10 here. And we're on to the final 1-point category to see how many, you know.
You know what? We're going to switch this category.
Are we switching this category?
Yeah.
You're just breaking all the rules here. You can just go fucking rogue here. Okay.
No. What
is it?
Well, here's the thing. Well, I always like your input. I mean, usually I'm going to have a pretty, like, if I feel a certain way, I would say it. But, like, I like your input, but we should do this as a half a point for each of us. Do we fuck with it? Because that's our podcast.
Okay.
So it would be a solid... and then most of the times when we both agree.
All right, let me try and figure this out here. I got to make a spiel for this real quick. All right, then we're going to move on to the final category, and that is, do we fucks with this movie, for a half a point each, for a total of 1 point, if it's possible. So, Christian Ramey, do you fucks with this movie?
I do, Mark.
That's a half a point.
Mark?
Now you got to ask me.
Ozark Mark, do you fuck with Sleepwalkers, 1992?
I fuck with Sleepwalkers, 1992.
Yes. See, that's more fun because it's going to keep people on the edge of their seat.
I know. They don't know what's happening here.
Yeah, well...
I don't even know what's happening
but
here.
picture if we have a 9.5, the pressure.
Oh, oh my God. Why am I fucking anxious about that? It's a fucking podcast horror movie rating, but I'm intense about it.
Yeah, man.
That would be intense.
That would break down.
So that brings us to the final score for Sleepwalkers is 7 out of 10. on a Sloppy Horror Podcast rating for that, and that is a good score. That's a pretty good score for what it is. It's a good movie. You guys will enjoy it.
I would highly recommend this for like this isn't, I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily know how lively you are on a Friday night if you like a cozy movie, but I'm telling you, I often mention like Sunday movies, folding laundry movies. This is like a sweatpants and comfy socks, I'm not doing shit today movie. Great for that. It's a little journey, man. It's a lot of fun. So that's a good rating. That's a solid rating. Now, we have to bounce right into this new little segment we have.
I missed you, mister.
Mr. Ozark. Tell him if they're old enough. How old? To watch that scary stuff. It's for the parents who will give. Ozark Mark.
What a song. That was.
Yes, it's
I'm
beautiful.
so glad you finally made something for it. God damn.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
over
I
here
mean,
making like 10 songs.
well, it's necessary. First off, you needed a little, something. But I actually really do, because I'm so. I'm like, if my kid was begging me to watch a horror movie, I would justify it somehow. Like, I'm not like, I don't really like the sex and drug stuff. I often mention that. So like, I would be strict about that. But outside of that, like, I could say like, no, that's cool. And you're like, bro, what? No, don't let your kid watch that. And it's fun because Ozark doesn't have kids, so like you have a different level of like responsibility if a child was under your care. It's more of like a babysitter level of like, all right, I don't want to fuck your kid up and make him watch something. I don't want him coming back home and saying like, Ozark let us watch Last House on the Left, and they'll be like, what? You're like, he did what? So if you had kids under your supervision, it's October or maybe the rehab month of November, and they're saying, we want to watch something spooky, Mark. What age would you think you could pop this one in the old VHS player?
This is a tough one.
VCR.
Okay, this is kind of VCR. I'm gonna go with like, I think 10 years old. The reason that is because it's not very scary. I don't think the creatures part is really not gonna mess a lot of kids up.
The stepmom part?
They're not even gonna understand that.
Yeah.
What they are going to understand, though, is animals and cats. Now, the problem is just when you're younger kids and animals, it will hit some of them harder than a human dying if they see a cat dying.
Oh,
and we
yeah.
got a couple spots where this lady just snaps a cat's neck. Couple of those, obviously they're puppets, but a child's not going to see that. It's going to feel sadness instantly, depending on your kid. If your kid loves animals, if your kid loves animals and loves cats, it's going to be scared. It's going to be sad. It's going to fuck them up a little bit.
Yep.
And I don't know, man. Kids are weird sometimes. That scene where Andy dies and the cat just comes and meows and sits on his dead. Like, that's sad.
That is sad.
That's
dude.
a very sad moment for that cat. And people, I'm an animal
Bro.
person. I could give a fuck about people, really, but animals are something different.
He took a pencil to the ear.
Yeah, and then kids will not be able to handle some of that stuff. So you got to be careful about that. Just the element with the cats. There's nothing really gory. There's nothing. There's sex in it, but there's nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't really show a lot of flesh.
No, it just shows
Make out.
It just shows a naked back. A lot of it's implied. So I think 10 years old, solid.
You are right though, man. You remember like one of the saddest
Solid age.
moments in any films? You remember in Homeward Bound where like the cat and the dog made it, but then the old one, he was like, he's just too old, he couldn't make it.
Dog.
I know, and then he finally makes it.
Oh, no.
You're like, hey, dude, turn it off, dude.
Fucking, you know what got me when I was younger? Fucking Hocus Pocus, when a cat gets run over and just sitting there flat in the fucking road. It's funny now, but when I was a kid, you know what I mean? Single digits, I saw that. I was like, what the fuck? Why they gotta run over the cat? Like,
Oh
you know what
my
I mean?
god, dude, that shit's funny. Yeah, I
Oh.
know that is that way. Yeah, you're. That one was really bad. Homeward Bound. He's just too old.
Dude,
he didn't make it.
Stop making movies like that. Stop.
Yeah, don't do that.
Stop involving animals. Why does the dog always have to get enormous? Stop putting animals in movies. People can't take it. Can't take it.
It was funny that one dog, he got hit with the porcupine. You know, but he was like, he was just all fucking porkied up like that.
Stop making movies with animals. It's a pain in the ass.
Oh, dude, yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Oh, man.
I couldn't imagine. Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. That's solid. I like that a lot.
Yes, sir. So, Christian Ramey, we got to bounce out of here. We did our due diligence. Mm-hmm. We did our solid hour of time here with you.
Yeah. Go watch Sleepwalkers, please.
Any final words here? Any words?
Well,
words of final for you.
Keep your ear to the track, because we are having big announcements coming soon regarding just everything with the new season, the new year, and really what's breaking down. So obviously, if you don't follow us on all of our platforms, I would recommend to do that. That would be a big help. Obviously, we just we had our little break, in between seasons, so it was fun to spend some time with the kids for Halloween, enjoy that holiday as I like to do. But we're back in full effect. We're swinging hard, so we're out here. Tell your friends. That's really the biggest help. If you guys want to be a big help, just spread the word on the show. I mean, that's really what's going on. We're a growing channel, and numbers each season just keep growing exponentially, and that's amazing. And we thank all of you who have showed love and spread love. Couldn't do it without you. So you think people that would be interested, you don't have to flood people that you don't think would be interested, but if you're out and about, you find somebody into spooky movies, or really just film critics are fun, and there's a lot of people who are movie buffs or movie nerds out there, so recommend them to our show. Greatly appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good week. You stay out of trouble. It's kind of getting cold, so bundle up out there. Don't get sick for the holidays. Or maybe you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but, enjoy your cold November and, get some cider or wherever you drink, wherever you live, and warm your bones.
Charles.
Ciao.
I knew I'd get you. Ma. I don't know how would you... Christian.
It would be the end.
Christian.
Mark. Charles.
All right, that's enough of that. We're out of here.
Can we make a montage of him saying Charles?
Oh my God.
Charles.